excited. So now that's what I want to say about our big ideas. Now in our remaining time, I would love to take a stab at playing the game. I've already showed it to you. This is an edition that I made specially for GCTM. It's called the Math and Learning Edition of Talk to Me. I took 130 words that I think are germane to almost the entire realm of mathematics, and they're words that I think are also descriptive. I don't have the word abscissa in here. That one doesn't really lend itself to description. I do have algebra in here. I also have the word learning in here. I have the word self-discipline. And before you say those have nothing to do with math, well, no, they really do. They really do. And if they don't have anything to do with math in your estimation, then they certainly have something to do with learning. So they're embedded in here too. Now the way the game is played is it's in the tradition of Taboo, Pictionary, $25,000 password. Many game shows have the construct of describing a term and having those on your team guess the term that you are describing. I've experimented with having certain rounds be played visually. You have to draw your picture, certain rounds being played verbally. If left to their own devices, most contestants describe verbally. Some clues are very easy to do visually, but then when you think about the room that we're in, if I have you standing here giving clues and you decide you want to give one visually, and that board's way over there, and that gets kind of cumbersome. So I usually say you can do it however you want to do it, and then what most people do is they choose to do it verbally, which is just fine. The game can be played, as I said before, with any number of people as long as you can divide your room in half. Have one team sit over here, one team sit over here. Are you interested in playing?
Definitely.
I would love everybody. So yeah, so let's divide into two teams. Okay, check. That's done. You don't even have to move. You kind of stay where you are. There are very simple ground rules here. Now the game is played with a 60-second egg timer. Now, I love, just to bother my kids, I love to do this. And it drives them crazy. But now please understand, that hole that's letting that sand through does not change. And that sand is coming through at the same rate, but it drives them crazy when you do that. So please don't do that.
Oh, darn.
So I have it sitting up here. I'll watch the time.
Because they think you're back in their time off.
Yeah. That doesn't do a thing. Doesn't do a thing. Go kids, you gotta look. All right, and what are other ground rules? Yeah, we asked that if Team A is giving and guessing, that Team B not say anything.
Okay.
There's a lot of gamesmanship that goes on in schools. Boy, you learn more things about how to tweak this from kids than you do from anyone else. They like when you're shooting free throws in basketball and the other team is trying to distract you. There's a lot of that used to go on. So okay, let's not do that. Let's not do that. And I know we won't do that here.
I don't know about that.
There are roles that need to be played in the game. Now, I'll play most of those today. I always choose a commissioner who is not me, because this is competition, and boy, it can get a little testy sometimes, and I've had to reconcile how to keep the focus on learning and not so much on winning, because techniques are used in the game sometimes, like I call it the right church, wrong pew method. Line. The term is line. Okay, definition is shortest distance between 2 points. Now, a very creative clue is, well, it's a type of dancing, electric slide, the bus stop. And not many people refer to those as line dances, but I mean, that's what they are, and that's a very creative way. Now, sometimes, here's what somebody would say. If I'm not telling the truth, I am. And somebody would say, I'm lying. Okay, that's not, I learned through playing the game that when that happens, that gives you a teachable moment. You just kind of slide in and say, hey guys, what do you think about us coming up with a bonus? Well, I give you 2 points if you define the term in a mathematical creative context, and I give you 1 point if you go outside the math context. Then that at least suggests that there's an incentive to keep it mathematical. There's another one that they do. They shout out all of the possible, triangle with two sides. Scalene. Obtuse. Isosceles. Okay, it's isosceles, but it's not those other ones. You can't. Yeah. Yeah, so you use the same rule there. It's like you come up with the ground rules sometimes just to address things like that. Please keep it mathematical. Now, if you say something that's just wrong, I don't want to take points away, so I usually give more points if you do it right.
Oh, you're definitely positive. I like the snatch.
I know. And sometimes you have to do that now. Like when you have the teams that just won't stop distracting the other teams. But you know, now remember now, I'm after this creative, aesthetic experience, so I'm trying to figure out how to guide this thing and keep it all energetic. And sometimes you have to shut it down. You have to remove the air from the room and say, we're going to have to do it right. Come on in, folks.
So can I ask you something real quick? So you have the two teams, you have the cards have the definitions on them, so like there's the word there in the definition, so the person who's trying to give the word, at least, if they don't know it, they're reading it to understand it, so it's helping them.
Yes.
And then they have to find ways of describing it without saying what's there.
Saying the word.
Now, you're saying you could do it from 5 people to 100 people, so you know in my class I have up to about 32 in class, so would you recommend 2 teams, would you recommend 4 teams?
I have experimented with all levels. I like 2 teams because that keeps it simple as long as your class is not too big.
Okay.
If you had 4 teams and have 2 playing at a time, it's a little tough to figure out what to have the others doing.
Right. So
That
just
can get
2
a little
teams.
village. Yeah, so 2 teams at least has everybody engaged because they're at least trying to see their team win.
Okay,
Even
and they're
if
really only waiting as far as being for a minute.
Yeah.
Which at the same time they're listening and learning too from that. Okay.
And then there's also, here's a way I've used to involve everybody. If Team A gets to the end of their time period and they're trying to give a clue and nobody answers it correctly, then I give the other team the chance to steal it. So that at least keeps
and
them
get a
in.
question to follow. So they get to steal and then
they
do
come
their
up and they do their round.
Okay, the commissioner, is the commissioner a part of the activity? Or are they just more so the rule keeper to make the call? They're like the ref,
Right.
to make it if it's a good or bad call.
They are, I call them the judge.
The judge.
There will be times where the sands through the hourglass will expire at the same time someone gives the answer. And the opposite team will swear, oh no, they did not get it in before time. And I got to put the commissioner on the hot seat.
Okay.
That's why I don't need to be the commissioner.
Right.
I am the affable game host. I like everybody. I want everybody to win. But boy, when I got to be the commissioner, then yeah. So we're going to work that out.
One last question, I'm gonna let you go. The commissioner, is that the only other role? It's the commissioner, the teachers, the facilitator, and the scorekeeper?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta have a good scorekeeper. Scorekeeper's usually on the hot seat too, but we keep tallies with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then at the end of each round, I'll have you write the name of the person who gave the clues, and then indicate their numeric score. And then that makes it a little easier to keep up with the rounds. Now in an hour, we can reasonably get through about 8 rounds in an hour. And I used to do this like baseball and have 9 rounds. Everybody gets to go to bat 9 times, so to speak. You don't have to do it that way, though. You don't have to do it that way. That's why I stay pretty simple with the smallest set of rules that I know are germane to good gameplay, and then I suggest other house rules that you might work in when you need to.
Like the bonus points if somebody does,
Now, one of the modes that I talked about in the book that I've experimented with pretty successfully is playing a teacher-led version of Talk to Me. Say if your class has fewer than 20 and you're doing an intensive review for a test where there's some things that the kids hadn't quite gotten up to speed on yet, then you as clue giver, you'll be giving the clues in their intended mathematical context, trying to see where everybody is. So if you say triangle with 2 congruent sides, and the first answer is scalene, and then it is cosigned by everybody in the class. That's an exaggerated example, but you gotta reteach that one a little bit. You may even have to evangelize. Like that is not it. That is not it. I love you, but that's not it. All right. Any other questions? Yeah. And if you would now, write them when you ask, because I do go back and look at them afterwards. Because somebody wrote one last year and said, "Are you not worried that no one will hear the correct answer when it is given?" And I didn't get to answer it during, but I emailed her. And I said, well, actually, I'm not worried, because at the end of the round, I come in and I teach everything that happened in that round, especially if something quirky happened, then I'll come back as a teacher and lift it up and say, hey, this triangle with two sides, those of you who were yelling scalene, no. Yeah, and that helps you to humorously but effectively address that, and then you don't have your class walk out and tell other teachers that you told them a triangle with two congruent sides is a scalene triangle. Because we don't want that to happen. All right. We don't have to choose captains. Can I just designate that the person closest to me on each side?
Okay.
Y'all are the captains. Okay. I won't put any pressure on you, but your team may choose you to give clues first. I won't have anything to do with that. Because I just put that in everybody. I just see the pink elephant in the back of the room. Everybody's thinking about that pink elephant. So y'all will probably need to go first. And do you need to confer, or are we ready to play?
Oh, we're ready to play. I'm ready to play.
All right. Now, this is where I say I have parting gifts. I have let me see.
Oh, that mean I can win something?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
My wife
I like to win.
chose the gift and she put it in my wallet, so even I
It's
don't know
money.
what it is.
It's in the wallet. Got your gift card, no?
Oh my! It's a $25 gift card to Marshall's.
Oh, one of my favorite stores. Okay, team, I want this.
Now this will
That's
go.
the team, so we need one on this side.
Got one on the other side.
I need somebody over here.
Yeah.
No, that's you got to stay. Y'all stay over here.
Split it up. Split it up.
Split up.
Y'all don't want
But
me.
we can keep both of you, right?
You with us?
No, believe me, you really don't.
Oh.
What you on the other side?
Now
We're
last year
competitive.
I got in trouble. Last year I think I had almost 80 people in this workshop.
I get one card. Yeah.
But I ended up having to give like 3 prizes because there were just 3 people who were very good. And the person that gets the prize now, and it is awarded by acclamation, it's the person who has demonstrated through the giving and the guessing of clues that they are just the most valuable clue giver and guesser in the room. And we really had 3 people. I had to ask those people to stand, and by acclamation.
Oh, he gets up now. Look at you.
No, I'm
Coming back to the team.
But the
Coming
prize,
back to go closer so you
Oh,
can.
let's all get a
and you know, as we went farther into the game, the level of play raised. So the person who went last actually got 12 clues in one round, but she did have the advantage of seeing how nervous everybody else was to the point where it calmed her. And they needed 10 to win the game, and she got 12, and it was phenomenal. That's why I keep the camera rolling, because I got that on tape. That was beautiful.
So let me take my, I want to know my name.
So yeah, so if we had that, Miss Savage.
Can you give one example? Can you like?
Oh yeah, sure. Warm me up. I will do that. Let me put this prize away. Now I do have some slightly smaller gifts. If you like Skittles, I have Skittles. Anytime you come up to give clues, now I'm gonna ask you if you want some candy. I'll give you some candy. I wouldn't do this in my classroom though, but y'all are grown.
I'm asking you one last question. Access to this program, how do we get it?
Oh,
On the website?
and it's on that Teachers Pay Teachers.
On that, that's where I can go.
And then on your handout, I have a link to my store
Okay.
at the bottom there.
All right.
Type that
Because I'm
in.
the one that has to get out early, so that's why I just wanted to know.
Now make sure you write your question down.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to take those home. All right, I'll warm you up.
Okay.
I'll warm you up. All right, you ready?
Ready?
All right. This is facts and figures that you collect about achievement.
Yeah.
That, yep, I was in
There we
it. Yeah, okay.
All right.
Okay.
5,280 feet.
A mile.
Right.
All right. Switch
How
it up
do
a
you know
little
it
bit.
got that?
All right, here's a tricky one.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
How do you know it got that?
Well, see, normally what's going to be happening
It's
is
gonna be
It's
the
gonna be
team.
Your
team.
team.
We just
Team
practice
versus that
Just
team.
did.
Yeah, you would just be giving the clues to your
Your
team.
team, and so your
Yeah.
team will get the points.
Yeah, so since
So
I'm
they're
warming
not-
you
They're
up,
listening while we go back and forth.
right.
yeah,
All right.
but they're
We
not
don't have
talking
a minute
and they're not
timer.
guessing.
To guess ours.
But now here in the
Okay,
warm
so
up,
as long as anybody on our team gets it, we can keep moving?
Well, then they go next, right?
yes,
Something.
yeah, now,
I
you'll go
thought
for
you
60.
get as many
That's
as
as long as
you
we
You
get
get as
time.
many as you can get in 60
In 60
seconds.
seconds.
Oh.
60 seconds.
So we're
Oh,
ready to
okay.
play now, let's go.
It's like-
He was just, he was showing us how to play it.
What's that
Yeah,
name?
you ready?
Oh, okay, well, I'm glad you know. So it is, we have that to get as many as we can until
Yes.
our timer runs out, and then it's their turn.
Yeah.
But when you were, the last question, if we run out of time, can go to them, not any of our
Yeah,
other
if
questions.
you have 8 clues that you're working on in a round, you get all 7, but you get stuck on the 8th and you run out of time.
Right.
And
Then
you
can-
guys know
What
clue
it
number
is.
8, then you can steal that one And
And
then you
then,
start your
then our
round.
time starts.
All right.
Okay.
All right, good question. Sorry about that. You ready?
Mhm.
Ladies first.
All right.
Ooh.
No, I'm not gonna let you go first.
Now, the first word is a little tricky, and you have to come through.
We have to set the tone, I guess.
Yeah, we put you to work.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So you can't pass on word?
You can pass, but now that actually gives an automatic point to the other team.
Whoa.
You can't pass.
Oh, we didn't hear that.
Okay,
We didn't
so-
hear that.
I
Yeah.
tell you.
We didn't hear that either.
Yeah, and it does become necessary sometimes, but you gotta use that with discretion. Your team gets mad when you pass.
So you could literally be on one word for 60 seconds?
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Really cool.
We got some easy words.
Now, I motivate all of you by giving you an amount of clues that would allow you to set the one-round record. The one-round record is 12.
Okay.
I'll give you at least 15 cards. You set a record here in the first
All
round.
right, we got this on this side.
All right.
I'm not sure again,
Team.
what I say.
Oh, we got it.
You know, that's not what I was thinking of when I read
We
this.
competitive right here.
All right. And now, since I'm doing the scoring too, what I'll do is I'll catch all of the cards, we'll review, and then I'll go
Just
over
one
and,
more question.
and
She can't go slip to the next card. She has to go in order of those.
right. That's why she has to stand here with me. I won't let her do that.
Oh.
And that's how it should be in the class.
I look nice enough, but I was my school's disciplinarian. I know how to take the air out of the room. All right. You ready?
Okay.